President Xi said during the World Internet Summit at the end of 2015 that cyberspace is the common space of activities for mankind. The future of cyberspace should be in the hands of all countries, and countries should step up communications, broaden consensus and deepen cooperation on jointly building a community of shared future in cyberspace. 1 year later, China released its blueprint on international cooperation in this regard. How do you look at the timing and the significance of this strategy?
As you said, President Xi Jinping at the second World Internet Conference put forward the important notion, principles, four principles on advancing the reform of international internet governance system, and the 5 propositions on the building of the community of shared future in cyberspace. And earlier this year, President Xi Jinping visited the UN headquarters in Geneva. He delivered a very important speech and gave a comprehensive outline of the China's thinking on building the community of shared future of mankind in the world. So those important thinkings has provided the core of China's cyber diplomacy, and that is also our the philosophical and ideological foundation of our strategy on international cooperation. The strategy, as a matter of fact, explained China's policies on international cooperation in cyberspace. The strategy laid out our strategic goals and also provided a action plan in 9 aspects. Mm-hmm. The main feature of our strategy is win-win cooperation, because win-win cooperation is also the cornerstone of China's foreign policy. To summarize, to outline the key, I would like to summarize the main contents of the strategy with a few keywords. One is peace and development. Second is win-win cooperation. Third is sovereignty, respect of sovereignty. Fourth is shared benefits. The last one is co-sharing and co-building and co-governance. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
We come to the details of what you just said in a moment, but right now let me cross over to Mr. Kim Won-soo, who is standing by in New York. Mr. Kim, you have witnessed China's release of this strategy of international cooperation on cyberspace. First of all, I wonder what is your reaction to this strategy and your reaction to the emphasis of this strategy on cooperation?
Ensuring peaceful cyberspace is a key to making sure all the benefits coming out of new technology like ICT and also digital economy can be shared by all mankind. So that's why UN has been leading international efforts to identify and build international norms and principles of international law to be applied in cyberspace. And the recent announcements by the Chinese government of its international strategy for cooperation in cyberspace is a welcome step because the transparency by sharing national strategy with the rest of the world, particularly with the key stakeholders, is the first step in building confidences among all stakeholders. And also the strategy contains a number of steps Chinese government is committed to take in the field of helping other member states build their capacity, because digital divide is the problem we have across the world between those who have technology and who can benefit from cyberspace and interaction there, but those who have not are suffering from lack of their capacity. So helping those member states which don't have capacity to build their capacity in bridging the gap we have in digital area is very crucial step, and we commend Chinese government for that.
Well, as you mentioned, there is also a very important international effort that is to write the rules or the norms of behavior for the cyberspace. As I understand, there are different processes that are under the auspices of the United Nations. For instance, the group of governmental experts. I understand your frustration in 2015, for instance, where you apologize for not being able to expand the number of members of that group from 25 to 30. Exactly why the international community is so divided in writing the rules of internet governance, and what do you think a country like China can do in helping boost that process?
Indeed, the need to build a norm and rule-based cooperation in cyberspace is crucial, and also that interest must be shared by all countries. But as you said, still there is a difference existing on which part of the international law should be given primacy. For example, state sovereignty or the privacy and protection of freedom of expression. So there are still remaining debates, but states agree on the need to protect critical infrastructure in ICT and other areas, and that's where the group of governmental experts have been leading international efforts for the past 10 years. But the group has expanded from 15 to 25, but UN member states are 193. So my wish is to take this debate to a all-inclusive discourse to be shared by all member states. But still, we have a little a long way to go to reach that destination. But in the meantime, the group of governmental experts, now represented by 25, have been leading international efforts to build norms and also identify which parts of the international law should be applied to cyberspace and how. So this group has been engaged in an important discussion among themselves, and we hope their recommendation will come out in several months' time, so that it can be taken up by all general membership of the United Nations, so that next way forward can be agreed and also supported by all membership. And this is crucial because now all member states, although many of them still are suffering from digital divide, the lack of capacity, but still they recognize this is the area their national interest also should be reflected in this debate. And I think it is a legitimate aspiration of all UN member states. So we hope that the recommendation coming out of current group of governmental experts will be tabled for consideration and active debate, and in the end, ultimately approval by them on the next steps to be taken forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kim Won-soo, the Undersecretary General for the United Nations and the High Representative on Disarmament Affairs, for joining us from New York. Let me come back to Mr. Long here in the studio. Tell us a bit more about China's strategy. Exactly what are the actions China has proposed to enhance international cooperation to better govern the cyberspace?
There are a few aspects that...
What are the most important ones, for instance?
For example, peace and stability. To maintain peace and stability is our high priority. As Mr. Kim said, peace and stability is the key in cyberspace. And the second one is win-win cooperation to promote the common development, common security among all states, to bridge the digital divide, to make the ICT technologies beneficial to all people in the world. And the third one is to promote the development of ICT technology, innovation of digital economy. And fourth one is to bring the cyberspace into full play of performing a platform of cultural exchange.
So it's really a lot of actions.
Yes.
But I think what people really pay the most attention to, for instance, is China's concept of internet sovereignty and China's vow to protect its interest on that regard. Why is it so important for China to protect its internet sovereignty? A lot of countries would not agree with that. They think the internet doesn't have a boundary.
As a matter of fact, the world community has a common understanding on the application of the principle of sovereignty equality in cyberspace. It is also reflected in the UN documents that the principles enshrined in the UN Charter, such as the sovereignty, equality, non-interference of internal affairs of each other, and the peaceful settlements of disputes. Those principles are applicable in cyberspace. That is the agreement of the UN membership. But as a matter of fact, it is also true that member states, as Mr. Kim said, are still undertaking discussions as to the specific ways and the means as to how to apply those principles, how to give more details into the application of those principles in cyberspace. Actually, China is also a member of the UN governmental experts on internet, on information security, and China would also join with other countries to try our best to bring positive outcome in the work of the UNGG.
So basically China is saying this physical sovereignty idea can also be extended to the cyberspace. Another important point of contention, especially in the attention of the Western media, is China's intention to strengthen its cyber capability as an important part of China's military modernization. And China has also warned that the internet should not become a new battlefield. Do you think that foreign countries need to worry about China's increased capability in this regard?
China's military modernization is purely defensive in nature, so nobody need to worry about that. As I said, in cyberspace, there is growing concern from members from countries about the development of military offensive capabilities by some countries in cyberspace. So in our view, that is not beneficial to the strategic stability, to the mutual trust among countries. So we should caution against that, to try to avoid cyberspace becoming a new battlefield.